Now, last week we had a really, bearish week on Bitcoin, and I believe actually the bottom should almost be in. Now, disclaimer: you should never be wanting to, call tops, call bottoms, unless you've got a thesis, you've got some data, and I believe this actually does have some weight. So what I've got here is a weekly pivot, and as you can see, Bitcoin on the week commencing the 1st of June closed below the 3S, so the support zone 3, which I class as an extremely bearish week. But I did some research actually, for God, well over, maybe 6 to 9 months ago. And I actually found that when this does happen, this can usually be a sign that, okay, it's time for Bitcoin to almost, reverse, or, well, usually do nothing for a while and then reverse. So as you can see, we had that week last week. If we go back to, just got the dates on my side, July here, as you can see, we had a 3S week, and then, if we just go back, then we go back, you can see what happened there. Yes, it went lower, but it went sideways for a bit and then went up. So for me, that is one instance where, okay, cool, price, had a really bearish week, but yeah, it went, a little bit lower, but it didn't follow through massively. And you could argue that's a bit of a weird example because we're in this range, but that was around the yen carry trade. So that to me was like when sentiment was really, really low and bearish, and I actually believe that, sentiment now is like really bad and bearish like that time as well. So another example is August here. So as you can see, August 2023, if we do again, replay, S3 week, there we go, in this range. If we go back off this, I know you did see it, but we'll just show you again. There, went sideways, probably just, bored people out, and then went up again. So I'm trying to know, I don't plan these things too much, but it's always good to be aware that we could see some boredom for a while before the next move. That is likely. Now we could see price keep going down. We could see it, go all the way back up. Who knows? Because you can't predict things. But if you have collected some data, you can kind of form these opinions like you do. You can actually, sort of have a reason in and around it. So here is another example of this happening. As you can see, November 2022, there you go, a big S3 week, that would be mega bearish, bear market, did nothing for a while, then we obviously went into that huge kind of, 2023, 2024 bull market. So, yeah, I mean, it's not predictive, but there's definitely some weight in this. And here is another example. Here we go. We had a different example here. We actually had the beginning. So if we go to here, there, and then we actually had, if we go back off there, back there, we actually had the beginning of a bearish trend. Now, I think this time, you can't say this time's a bit different in markets, but right now we've been bearish for a while. Another example of this happening is here, there. Same sort of scenario. Let's just go there to show you. There we are, below S3, and then what happened for a couple of weeks? Absolutely nothing before the mega bullish move of, late 2020 going into 2021. So, yeah, another example there. And then look, here's a good one. COVID. There we are, below S3, and that actually did mark the bottom, as you can see there, and then price kind of drifted back up there. So look, not predictive, but it's a good way of, maybe having sort of a thesis, like, okay, cool, this happens, this is definitely an extension in a bearish trend, and it could be something, something to be of note of. So as you can see here, here's a different example. S3 there. Look, as I said earlier, it's not the same all the time. You actually had another S2 week, very bearish, but then, we kind of did absolutely nothing. I'm going to just go off there, go there. Kind of did nothing for a while, and then boom. So what I'm expecting is kind of nothing for a while, boredom. And that's usually where people will be shaken out, people will lose. You know, if you are just showing up every day, staring at the charts for 5 minutes, you're beating most people, because most people will be reacting to the news. They'll be tweeting, they'll be posting on LinkedIn about how bearish everything is. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. But hopefully, you know, using these pivot points, it's quite like an easy way. You don't have to like guess too much. But as I've shown you, there's some examples where we've had a bearish week, and then obviously here there was a bit of follow through, but there's periods of time afterwards where nothing. I mean, that's just hell. But look, if you stuck around, you could have caught that lovely trend and got some lovely trades. So yeah, just a quick video. Just wanted to say that, look, the Bitcoin bottom could be in soon. I would expect nothing for a while, but it could be time. But it's time to really focus. It always is in markets. It's always time to watch. You've got to be watching and showing up every day, even if it's just getting TradingView on your phone and just having a little glance, seeing what it's doing. You can't switch off. You can't stop looking. You can't change your watch lists because of the market conditions, start chasing things. The real money is made when no one's watching. So hopefully this pivot kind of example can give you a good guide of how to catch bottoms and tops. Well, mainly bottoms we spoke about today, but it may be worthwhile doing some analysis into tops and to see if the same happens. But yeah, so thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one.